Hey everyone, it's Josh Thomas here from the BitBlock to bring you through my video review of Paper Mario Color Splash on Wii U. Right off the bat though, I do want to say that I have been a fan of Color Splash since it was first shown. And while I did have concerns prior to playing it, I remained pretty hopeful. And of course, I'm a huge fan of the original Paper Mario on N64 and an even bigger fan of the Thousand Year Door on GameCube. Heck, I'm even one of the 4.5 people who actually enjoyed Paper Mario Sticker Star. So, having said all of that, what did I think of Color Splash? Well, let's get into it. I want to start off by talking about the worst elements of gameplay first, so that we can end this segment on a somewhat positive note. So brace yourself, because I'm about to be brutally honest here. The battle system in this game is horribly designed. It is the worst that it has ever been in any Paper Mario game. This time around, you use cards as battle commands. These cards are displayed on your gamepad screen, so you have to keep looking down at the controller to select your attack cards, and then you look back up at the TV to actually attack the enemies. Every single time. This is not fun. This is not clever. This is not intuitive. It's not some kind of cute or interesting use of the gamepad at all. So I fail to see why we couldn't just have a Pro Controller to use in this game. Why is there no Pro Controller support? And you could just put the cards up on the TV. I mean, look at this. It's a little bit barren, right? There's not much going on here. You could definitely fit some cards on the bottom of the TV screen here. See? Was that so hard? Look, this would be great, but sadly, you can't really play like this. Let's compare battling in Sticker Star, Thousand Year Door, and Color Splash just to illustrate why I find battling on Wii U to be such an annoying chore. First up, the Thousand Year Door. You simply select whether you want to use an item, your hammer, or a jump attack. You then actually get to select an enemy to directly attack, and boom, you're done. That was quick and intuitive. Next, let's check out Sticker Star on 3DS. You simply select your sticker attack on the bottom screen, you select Done, and hey, wow, look at that, you're already attacking your foes. That was pretty quick. And finally, here's the process that you must go through to battle in Color Splash. Well, first up, you gotta wait for the interface to load on the gamepad, which for some reason is like an extra 2 seconds after the battle loads on the TV screen. Next, you gotta cycle through this big line of cards that you've accumulated, with no way to display them in multiple rows at once for some reason. Then you drag the card up to the designated area. Next, touch and hold each card for about 2 seconds each to fill them with paint for some reason. Select Done Painting. Finally, you touch the cards and flick them upwards. Oh my god, why are there so many steps to make a simple attack in this game? Now imagine doing this multiple times in a battle, and every time you enter a battle with an enemy. Unfortunately, the horrible interface isn't where the battle problems end. Because you cannot select which character to fight and you attack them in order, this means that you can actually accidentally attack an enemy with a card that you did not intend to use on them. It doesn't happen too often, but it definitely happened to me a few times while playing. Little things like this just add to the bad game design found in battles. You also waste a lot of paint and cards in battle. If I end up defeating all my enemies, but I still have some cards left to play, well, too bad, because they're gone forever and I don't get them back. Same goes for leftover paint in a card. It's just gone, I don't get it back. Now honestly, this isn't really a huge problem because the game does give you so much paint and so many cards everywhere you look, but still, it's worth pointing out because like I said before, bad game design. The game has quite a few moments where I found myself just walking around aimlessly, not knowing how to progress because it wasn't obvious enough or logical. Here, for example, I cannot progress to the end of the stage because the bridge area is missing a big chunk. So my first thought was, oh, okay, so I have to find an object to act as the bridge so I can walk over it. Then when I couldn't find anything, I was like, well, maybe it's that cutout mode thing. So I tried it. Nope, that didn't work. Huh. Well, get this. It turns out I wasn't trying to activate the new cutout mode in the exact location in order for it to work. See, I had to walk a little bit further down over to here and use it from here. Here's Here's another example of how random and illogical the new cutout mechanic is most of the time. I'm trying to get up here to grab the blue star, so I'm talking to locals, I'm walking around seeing if there's another pathway, but no clues yet. So get this. Turns out I need to hop into the cutout mode, trace along the buildings and the sign in order to create steps for Mario to walk across. I'm supposed to look at this and think, hey, I bet you somewhere in the shapes of these buildings there are steps for me to walk on. It's insane. One final example here, just because I really want to drive this point home. I got a big giant bone card, and I know I have to use it to bring this Toad's Pet Chain Chomp back to him. But when I speak to him, he won't let me give him the bone. So I'm looking around and I have no clue what to do. Do I put it in the food bowl? I mean, that makes the most sense. No, that doesn't work. Oh wait, of course! I need to walk over to these two random fence boards, cut them out, and then place the bone card in their place. And then when that triggers the animation, the bone just randomly falls from the sky away from the area that I placed it in. What? It's so random. I could go on forever. There are so many examples like this through the entire game. If you thought Sticker Star had crazy random puzzles to solve, this game is no better in that regard. The cutout concept isn't thought out well enough. It's not even technically fun to use. The movement that you make when you're tracing on the gamepad isn't one-to-one with the cutting animation at all, so it just feels sluggish and unrewarding to use. I'm not a fan of the overworld map in Color Splash either. It worked on a handheld game in order to make things very easy to pick up and play, but porting that over to a home console game doesn't really make much sense for a Paper Mario title, and it prevents the settings from feeling like they're all one big landscape. Every level feels segregated from each other, and I never really felt like everything was part of a big, connected adventure. But, having said that, the map does look cute and it makes getting around a bit easier. See, for some reason this game will sometimes have you enter a level, and then literally like 30 seconds later, you'll beat that level. Or you'll be told to leave and come back later. There's lots of like jumping back and forth and backtracking between levels in this game. So I guess the quicker overworld map serves a pretty good purpose, although they could have just made the game flow better and completely avoided this issue altogether. And I'm sorry, but I gotta complain about this. I gotta complain about the Koopalings. They act as basically all of the main boss battles in Color Splash. I am so tired of the Koopalings. I was excited when they returned in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. It was pretty cool to see them like in a 3D setting. Then they appeared again in New Super Mario Bros. 2, and again in New Super Mario Bros. U, as well as appearances in Super Smash Bros. 4 and Mario Kart 8. These characters have become so boring and stale. They've always been boring. I mean, I think most logical people would rather see totally original boss battles rather than these 7 idiots. The Smorg Monster, Hooktail, Tubba Blubba, Cortez, the list goes on and on. Boss battles used to be exciting and interesting, and now they're just Koopalings. Jeez, Josh, talk about Mr. Negativity. Did you like anything about the gameplay? Because I can't take this barrage of hatred anymore. Well, I got some good news, because there are definitely some things here that I did enjoy. The painting mechanic is pretty cute, and while not genius, it serves its purpose as a fun little gimmick. It's addictive to paint in all the colorless spots and levels, and it's often interesting to use your paint to solve puzzles by bringing characters and objects back to life. And when I'm not annoyed by battling or messing around with the lame cutout gimmick, the gameplay is quite fun, and it reminds me a bit of the way Paper Mario used to be. There are just a bunch of little clever moments that occur pretty often in stages. The visuals are absolutely the strongest aspect to Paper Mario Color Splash. This game is gosh dang gorgeous. The paper art style is finally perfected. Everything from little stones, plants, buildings, flowers, characters, you name it. They all look like they're made from construction paper or cardboard, and being in HD, you really notice all the detail, and it's quite amazing. You know how earlier I was Mr. Joshy McCranky Pants when I was talking about the battling and everything? I am totally the opposite when it comes to discussing this game's visuals. The humor, I've noticed, also stems quite a bit from the visual gags. There are countless moments where you'll see little bridges unroll and fold out to assemble, little splashes of water from a watermill, big explosions made entirely from paper, and so much more. Also worth bringing up is that the themes for the level design in Color Splash are much better than they were in Sticker Star. You'll visit locations like Kiwano Temple, which is infested with spinies everywhere you look. Dark Blue Inn is a haunted hotel with lots of creepy atmosphere. And Marmalade Valley is a dig site for ancient fossils. There definitely still are some lame, basic New Super Mario Bros. Types, themes for levels, like the ocean, for example. But overall, themes used here are a step in the right direction from Paper Mario Sticker Star. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room though, and by elephant, I mean Toad. And by Toad, I mean Toads! This game severely lacks personality in its character design. I cannot believe just how many Toads you talk to in this game that are literally just basic Toad designs. It's genuinely shocking just how unoriginal the character designers were in this game. You know what? I'm fine if they're all gonna be Toads, but dress them up a bit. Look at these images. Would you ever be able to guess which of these Toads is an archaeologist? Or what about an ancient, all-wise mountain dweller? What about just a simple mailman? No, you would never be able to guess which one of these characters is any of those professions. Why are none of the NPCs wearing costumes? Why do none of them have different hairstyles, makeup, beards, hats, and so on? Why can't any of these characters visually match their occupations and personalities? It's a huge letdown. The writing in this game is pretty great. It's a funny, well-written game, and these characters have personality through their writing, but man, if only the character's appearance matched that great writing. In short, this game looks great. It's one of the most enjoyable Nintendo games to look at, but I do have to say the character design for all of these Toads is pretty bafflingly lazy. Now, much like the visuals, the game's audio and music is pretty great. There's quite a bit of super high-quality orchestrated music here. In fact, some of the tracks even stand out beyond just being great, and could be considered something really special. There's a good variety to the genres of music too, so some of it is remixed from previous Mario games, while plenty of it is totally original, the latter of which ends up being the most enjoyable to listen to, in my opinion. I'm getting a little bit tired of hearing remixes of old Mario music. I want new stuff. And like I said, even the general sound effects are great. The squishy sound of your paint hammer, little audio cues that occur, extra ambient sounds popping up on the overworld map depending on where you're hovering over, and so on. Good stuff basically all around here when it comes to audio. The overall game will take you maybe about 20 hours to beat, which is a pretty decent chunk of time. Other than the main progression of the game, there's not a ton of side stuff to enjoy here though. If you care enough to, you can fill in every little blank area of each level with your paint hammer to unlock music. You can also donate every single type of card to the museum, and even unlock concept art for the game. There are also these little Rochambeau temples that pop up where you play an incredibly boring, slow game of rock, paper, scissors with random enemies. By winning here, you'll be rewarded with a huge amount of coins, so it can kind of be beneficial, but they're just so very uninteresting, and they're the same slow, clunky card battle gameplay that you see in battle, so to be blunt here, I never bothered to visit these beyond my first couple times. Replay value in Color Splash is certainly much lower than it's been in the series past. In the end, Color Splash has some simple fun to offer. The visuals are pretty neat and well designed, the music is high quality, and the writing works very well most of the time. But the game is a somewhat sad reminder of Nintendo's inability to listen to fan feedback and create an experience that its loyal audience desires and deserves. It begs the question, why must the Paper Mario series be this way now? The first 3 games sold very well, and they were critically acclaimed by both reviewers and fans. So why drastically change something that was so beloved and works so well? Why can't we have unique partner characters with a rewarding, intelligent battle system? If it's true that Nintendo wants Paper Mario to be different from Mario and Luigi, then surely that would at least mean keeping the unique partner characters, as the Mario and Luigi games don't really have them. Why can't we have original NPC characters that have costumes, hairstyles, and accessories? Why are 80% of this game's interactable characters literally generic toads? Why do we need an overworld map where levels are reduced to looking like Mario Party game board spaces instead of everything being connected as one big world that you travel through? Well, I know the answer to all of those questions, and it's Shigeru Miyamoto. Because Mr. Miyamoto created Mario and so many beloved Nintendo characters, his opinions and ideas are treated like the word of God, no matter how completely ridiculous they are. Based on Iwata Asks interviews, we've learned just how difficult it can be to work with him, and how he and he alone is why Paper Mario has taken such an odd, uninteresting turn for the worst. Look, like I said earlier, Paper Mario Color Splash definitely has some fun things going for it. It's charming, it's got funny writing, looks fantastic, it even has some interesting concepts for level design. The music is quite nice as well. The gameplay, however, is just not here. Battling is such a slow, clunky, obnoxious setup. The non-stop barrage of generic toads is baffling and makes the game kinda uninteresting. If you hated Sticker Star, I cannot in good faith recommend that you spend $60 on this game. If you're still curious, I guess I would maybe suggest buying it used somewhere, like on eBay or at a GameStop. It's definitely worth maybe around $25 or $30. But overall, I think its problems are in areas that the game really needed to shine, like the battling and like the personalities of characters. Overall, the BitBlock is rewarding Paper Mario Color Splash with a 6.8 out of 10.